Captain Jake Murphy sat in his chair on the bridge of the Terra's Pride. The ship was not big or fancy. It was just a simple exploration vessel that humans used to look for new planets. Jake had been flying this ship for 5 years now. He liked the quiet missions where nothing dangerous happened. The ship was checking out the Kepler 442 system. It was a boring job. They had to scan planets and take notes about what they found. Lieutenant Amy Carter was working at her station. She handled all the radio messages. Chief Engineer Pete Rodriguez was fixing something in the engine room, like always. Dr. Lisa Park was looking at samples of space rocks. "Captain, I'm getting something strange on the sensors," Amy said. She looked worried. "There are big ships coming our way." Jake looked at the main screen. Dark shapes were moving toward them. The ships were huge and black. They had sharp edges and scary designs. There were at least 20 of them. "Those don't look friendly," Pete said over the intercom. From the engine room, Dr. Park came to the bridge. She had never seen alien ships before. "Are those really alien spacecraft?" she asked. The alien ships formed a circle around the Terra's Pride. The human ship looked very small next to them. One of the alien ships was much bigger than the others. It had spikes and red lights all over it. "Captain, they're sending us a message," Amy said. "Should I put it on the main screen?" "Yes, let's see what they want," Jake said. The screen changed. An alien face appeared. The creature had gray skin and yellow eyes. It wore a huge metal hat with feathers and jewels. The hat was so big it looked like it might fall off. The alien had lots of medals on its chest. Its voice was very deep and dramatic. "I am Admiral Korthok of the mighty Zephyrian Empire," the alien said. The camera showed him from below to make him look more scary. "You have entered our space, tiny creatures." Jake tried not to smile. The alien looked like something from an old movie. "Your pathetic vessel is surrounded by the greatest fleet in the galaxy," Admiral Korthak continued. He waved his arms around. "You will surrender now or face complete destruction." The alien made angry faces at the camera. He pointed at them and shook his fist. "Your species is weak and small. You know nothing of our power. We have destroyed 1,000 worlds." Pete started laughing in the background. Amy put her hand over her mouth to hide her smile. Dr. Park whispered, "Is he serious?" Admiral Korthak kept talking. "Look upon my magnificent fleet and tremble with fear. See my glorious uniform and know that you face a true warrior. Your end has come." That was too much for Jake. He started laughing. Amy joined in. Soon the whole bridge crew was giggling. "I demand you show proper respect," Admiral Korthok shouted. His big hat wobbled when he got angry. "Why do you make these strange noises?" "Sorry," Jake said, trying to stop laughing. "It's just that you look exactly like this character from an old Earth movie. The hat is perfect." Amy forgot to turn off the communication channel. The aliens could hear everything the humans said. "Oh, my God, look at all those medals," Pete said over the intercom. "Did he win them all at the same costume party?" "Pete, they can hear you," Amy whispered, but she was still laughing. Dr. Park was looking at her computer. "According to my scans, his hat weighs about 15 pounds. How does his neck not hurt?" Admiral Korthak's yellow eyes got bigger. "You dare mock the ceremonial headwear of the Zephyrian Empire?" "We're not mocking it," Jake said. "We just think it's really impressive, very dramatic." "Did you practice that speech in the mirror?" The other alien ships were moving around them in what was supposed to be a threatening pattern. But they moved so slowly and carefully that it looked like a parade. "This is your final warning," Admiral Korthok said. "Surrender or be destroyed." Okay, Jake said. He was trying to be serious, but kept smiling. "We're just explorers. We didn't know this was your space. We can leave if you want." "Explorers?" Admiral Korthok looked confused. "You are not warriors." No, we're scientists, Dr. Park said. We study planets and rocks and things like that. But you show no fear, Admiral Korthak said. All species fear the Zephyrian Empire. It is impossible that you do not fear us. Amy looked at Jake. Should we be scared? She asked. I don't know, Jake said. Should we be scared of the hat? The crew started laughing again. Admiral Korthak's face turned purple. He started shouting in his own language. Other aliens appeared on the screen behind him. They all had smaller hats, but looked just as confused. In 500 years of conquest, no species has ever responded this way, Admiral Korthak said. What is wrong with you creatures? Nothing's wrong with us, Jake said. We just have a sense of humor. Don't you guys ever laugh? Laugh, Admiral. Korthak repeated the word, like it was foreign to him. Yeah, you know, when something is funny, you laugh, Pete explained over the intercom. Like right now, this whole thing is pretty funny. The aliens talked to each other in their language. They seemed very upset and confused. Admiral Korthak looked back at the screen. We will contact our Empress, he said. She will know how to deal with your strange behavior. Do not move from this spot. The screen went black. The alien ships stayed around them but didn't attack. Well, that was interesting, Jake said. Amy, send a message to Earth Command. Tell them we met some aliens who take themselves very seriously. What should we do now? Dr. Park asked. Wait and see what happens, Jake said. Maybe they'll come back with an even bigger hat. The crew laughed again. Outside, the alien ships continued their slow, dramatic movements around the small human vessel. The Zephyrian Empire had no idea what they had gotten themselves into. Admiral Korthak was very angry. He had never been laughed at before. In his private chamber on the flagship, he looked at himself in the mirror. His ceremonial hat did look very big, but it was supposed to look big. Big hats meant power in Coltree called his second-in-command. Bring the fear drones, he ordered. These humans need to learn proper respect. Back on Earth, the message from Jake's ship had reached Admiral Ben Taylor at Earth Defense Command. Taylor was reading the report with his morning coffee. They laughed at the aliens. He asked his aide, Colonel Kate Johnson. Yes, sir. According to Captain Murphy's report, the alien admiral wore a 15-pound hat and made dramatic speeches. The crew found it amusing. Taylor smiled. Well, that sounds like our people. What's the situation now? The alien fleet is still surrounding the Terra's Pride. They haven't attacked yet, but we should probably send help. Agreed. Get the Defiant ready for launch, and contact Senator Davis. He'll want to know about this. Meanwhile, the story was already spreading across human social networks. Someone had recorded Admiral Korthak's speech and posted it online. Within hours, millions of people had seen it. Look at that hat, one person commented. My grandmother had curtains that looked like that. I love how serious he is, wrote another. It's like he's auditioning for a space opera. People started making their own versions of the speech. They put on fake alien voices and dramatic music. Some wore cooking pots on their heads to copy the Admiral's hat. A teenager named Bobby from Texas made a remix of the speech with dance music. It got 10 million views in one day. The chorus was Admiral Korthak saying "You will surrender now," over and over, with a heavy beat. Back in space, Admiral Korthak was ready to try again. He launched dozens of small ships called fear drones. These ships were designed to scare other species. They projected scary images in the air and made loud, frightening sounds. The fear drones surrounded the Terra's Pride. They started their show. Giant monsters appeared in space around the human ship. The images showed terrible creatures eating planets and destroying cities. The sounds were meant to make people panic. On the bridge of the Terra's Pride, the crew watched the light show. Oh wow, this is beautiful, Amy said. Look at all the colors. Pete came up from the engine room to watch. It's like the 4th of July, but in space. Are those supposed to be monsters? Dr. Park was taking pictures. The holographic technology is impressive, very advanced. Jake opened a communication channel to the alien fleet. Admiral Korthak, this is amazing. How do you make the pictures so realistic? Admiral Korthak appeared on the screen again. He looked shocked. You are supposed to be terrified. These are images of death and destruction. Yeah, we can see that, Jake said. But it's really well done. Did you guys go to art school for this? Art school? Admiral Korthak's voice went higher. These are fear drones. They have conquered the minds of 1,000 species. Amy was recording everything with her personal camera. My kids are going to love this. Can you make the dragon bigger? The fear drones tried harder. They made the monsters larger and the sounds louder. But the humans just enjoyed it more. This would be perfect for a Halloween party, Pete said. Dr. Park was studying the technology. The quantum projection system must be incredibly complex. How many terawatts of power does this require? Admiral Korthak turned off the fear drones. He was very confused. What is wrong with your species? Why don't you feel fear? We do feel fear sometimes, Jake explained. But this is more like entertainment. It's fun to watch. On Earth, Senator Rick Davis was in an emergency meeting with other government leaders. They were watching the live feed from the Terra's Pride. So these aliens want to scare us? Senator Davis asked. That seems to be their plan, Admiral Taylor said. But it's not working very well. Should we be worried about them? Asked the Secretary of Defense. Hard to say. They have big ships and fancy technology. But if this is their best intimidation technique, I'm not too concerned. At that moment, another alien ship appeared on the screen. It was much more advanced looking than the Zephyrian vessels. A new alien face appeared. This one looked older and wiser. Greetings, humans, the alien said. I am Ambassador Veltar of the Centaurian Republic. We have been watching your encounter with the Zephyrian Empire. Hello there, Senator Davis said. Nice to meet you. Are you here to try to scare us too? Ambassador Veltar looked surprised. No, we are here to warn you. The Zephyrian Empire has conquered 47 star systems. They are very dangerous. They seem pretty harmless to us, Senator Davis said. Do all galactic empires wear those big hats? The Zephyrians are known for their dramatic nature, Veltar admitted. But their weapons are real. They have destroyed entire civilizations. How? Senator Davis asked. By boring them to death with long speeches. The human representatives started chuckling. Ambassador Veltar had never seen anything like this before. Do you not understand the danger? Veltar asked. We understand it fine, Admiral Taylor said. We just don't get scared easily. It takes more than a fancy hat and some light shows to intimidate humans. Back on the Zephyrian flagship, Admiral Korthak was reporting to his Empress. The communication screen showed a very tall alien woman with an even bigger hat than Korthak's. Empress Zathera, Korthak said. The humans refuse to be intimidated. They laugh at our fear protocols. They laugh. Empress Zathera had never heard this word used in a military context before. Yes, my Empress. They find our appearance amusing. They called my ceremonial headwear a costume. Empress Zathera was quiet for a long moment. In our entire history, no species has ever failed to fear us. What makes these humans different? I do not know, my Empress. They seem to enjoy danger. They treat our threats like entertainment. Interesting, the Empress said. Perhaps we need a stronger demonstration. Prepare the void render. We will show them what real power looks like. Should I destroy their ship, my Empress? No, let them. Watch what happens when a species defies the Zephyrian Empire. Find one of their colonies. Make an example of it. Admiral Korthak bowed. It will be done, my Empress. On Earth, the Admiral Korthak remixes were getting more popular. Someone had made a video game where players had to give dramatic speeches while wearing big hats. Another person created a dating app where people used Korthik-style dramatic language to introduce themselves. Your pathetic profile cannot resist my magnificent charm, became a popular pickup line. Colonel Johnson showed the trending videos. To Admiral Taylor. Sir, this alien encounter has become the biggest internet sensation in years. Good, Taylor said. If we're going to meet more aliens, it's better that we face them with laughter than fear. Though I suspect this isn't over. Yet, he was right. In space, the Zephyrian fleet was already moving toward the human colony on Kepler 438b. They were planning something much bigger than fear drones and light shows. But the humans had no idea what was coming. They were too busy making jokes about alien hats. The human mining colony on Kepler 438b was a small place. Only 5,000 people lived there. They dug rare metals from the planet's surface and sent them back to Earth. The colony had basic defenses, but nothing that could stop a real military attack. Tony Garcia was the mining supervisor. He was having lunch when his assistant ran into the cafeteria. Tony, there are alien ships coming, she said. Big ones. Tony looked out the window. Dark shapes were moving across the sky. They were the same type of ships that had surrounded the Terrace Pride. How many? Tony asked. 20 ships, and one really big one. Tony called an emergency meeting. All the colonists gathered in the main hall. Most of them were miners, engineers, and their families. They were not soldiers. Okay, everyone, Tony said. We've got alien visitors. From what I heard on the news, they like to make scary speeches and wear funny hats. The colonists had all seen the viral videos of Admiral Korthok. Everyone had been laughing about them for days. Are we in danger? Asked Maria, who worked in the metal processing plant. Maybe, Tony said. But if these are the same aliens who got upset because people laughed at them, I think we can handle it. Above the colony, the massive Zephyrian dreadnought Voidrender took position. It was 3 times bigger than any other ship in their fleet. The ship had huge guns and armor plating. It looked like a floating fortress. Empress Zathera, herself, was on the ship. She wanted to see how humans reacted to real power. She had brought cameras to record the terror and surrender of the human colony. Begin the intimidation protocol, she ordered. The Zephyrian ships started playing loud, scary music. It echoed across the colony through powerful speakers. The music was supposed to fill people with dread down in the colony. The humans listened to the alien music. That's actually pretty good, said Jim, who worked in the equipment garage. Very dramatic. Like a movie soundtrack. It needs more drums, added Lisa, the colony's communication officer. The Zephyrian ships began their slow, threatening approach. They moved in perfect formation, designed to look overwhelming and unstoppable. Tony watched from the command center. They really take their time, don't they? How long does it take to intimidate someone? Next came the ultimatum. Empress Zathera's face appeared on every screen in the colony. She wore a crown that was even more elaborate than Admiral Korthak's hat. It had crystals and metal spikes that caught the light. People of this pathetic human settlement, she began. Her voice was deep and commanding. I am Empress Zathera of the mighty Zephyrian Empire. You have 1 hour to evacuate this world or face total destruction. The colonists gathered around the screens to watch. Wow, her hat is even bigger than the Admiral's, someone said. Is that a crown or a chandelier? Asked another person. You have defied our empire, the Empress continued. Your species shows no proper respect for your superiors. This ends now. Prepare to witness the power that has conquered 47 worlds. Tony looked around the room. Well, we could evacuate, or we could stay and see what happens. I vote we stay, said Bob, the head of mining operations. I want to see if they're as funny as the other guy. All in favor of staying? Tony asked. Almost. Everyone raised their hand. This should be interesting, Maria said. Tony opened a communication channel to the alien fleet. "Hello up there. This is Tony Garcia, mining supervisor. We got your message about evacuating." Empress Cythera appeared on the screen. She expected to see terrified humans begging for mercy. Instead, she saw Tony sitting casually in his chair, drinking coffee. "You will leave immediately," she said. "Well, here's the thing," Tony said. "We just got here, and we've got a lot of work to do. Plus, your ships are kind of interesting to look at. Mind if we watch the show?" The Empress was confused. "Show, yeah? You know, the intimidation thing. We've been watching the videos online. You guys are really good at this." Other colonists crowded around the camera. They waved at the Empress. "Hi there," someone called out. "Love the crown." Empress Cythera had never experienced anything like this. "You are not afraid, should we be?" Tony asked. "I mean, you haven't actually done anything yet. Just a lot of talking and slow flying around." The Empress decided to show them real power. She ordered her ships to fire warning shots. Huge energy beams shot past the colony and hit empty ground. The blasts created massive explosions and left smoking craters. The humans watched from their windows. "Now that's impressive," Tony said over the communication channel. "How much power do those guns use?" "They are weapons of destruction," the Empress shouted. Double quotes. "Yeah, we figured that out," Tony said. "But seriously, the energy output must be incredible. What kind of reactor do you use?" Dr. Park had arrived on a supply ship just before the aliens came. She was studying the alien technology with great interest. "The particle beam alignment is perfect," she said to Tony. "This is very advanced physics." The Empress fired more warning shots. Each blast was bigger than the last. But instead of running away, more humans came outside to watch. Someone set up chairs on the observation deck. Others brought snacks and drinks. Soon there was a whole crowd watching the alien demonstration like it was a fireworks show. "This is the best entertainment we've had in months," Maria said. Tony opened the channel again. "Thanks for the show. Are you going to do more of those big explosions?" Empress Cythera was getting very angry. "You will surrender now, or we will destroy your entire colony." "Okay, but before you do that, can I ask you something?" Tony said. "What? Why do you guys always wear such big hats? Is it a religious thing, or do you just really like hats?" The other colonists started laughing. Even some of the children had come out to watch the aliens. "These are symbols of power and authority," the Empress said. "They're definitely big," Tony agreed. "But don't they get heavy? My neck would hurt after wearing something like that all day." The Empress decided she had wasted enough time. She ordered a full attack on the colony. The Zephyrian ships moved into attack formation, but the humans were ready. Tony had been quietly preparing while they talked. The mining colony might not have military weapons, but it had lots of industrial equipment. "Everyone to your positions," Tony said. "Time to show these aliens what human miners can do." Commander Sarah Wells launched from the colony's small landing pad in a modified mining ship called the Wasp. It was not designed for combat, but the colonists had made some changes. "Wasp to colony," Sarah said over the radio. "Let's see how these fancy aliens handle some real Earth engineering." The Zephyrian ships expected the humans to run or hide. Instead, they found themselves under attack by the strangest fleet they had ever seen. Mining ships launched drilling charges like missiles. Construction mechs walked across the ground carrying huge metal beams as weapons. Even the garbage collection ships joined the fight, using their magnetic clamps to grab onto alien fighters. The Zephyrians had trained for proper space battles with organized fleets and standard tactics. They had no idea how to fight against humans who used construction equipment as weapons and treated the whole battle like a game. "What are they doing?" Admiral Korthok asked from his ship. "I believe they are improvising," one of his officers said. The battle was chaotic and confusing. The humans had no formation or strategy. They just attacked with whatever they had available. Some used mining lasers to cut into alien ships. Others launched cargo containers full of metal, or like giant shotgun shells. Empress Zithera watched in amazement as her advanced fleet struggled against mining equipment and construction tools. "How is this possible?" she asked. The Void Render finally took damage when a mining ship full of explosives crashed into its shield generators. The massive dreadnought started to retreat. "We're winning," someone shouted over the radio. Tony was coordinating the defense from the command center. "Nice work, everyone. I think they're getting the message." The Zephyrian fleet pulled back. Several of their ships were damaged. None of the human ships were designed for space combat, but they had fought like professionals. Empress Zithera appeared on the screen one more time. Her crown was crooked, and she looked very upset. "This is impossible," she said. "No species defeats the Zephyrian Empire with mining equipment." "First time for everything," Tony said. "Want to try again tomorrow? We'll be here." The alien fleet jumped away into space. The colonists cheered and celebrated their victory. Within hours, the story of the Kepler Colony Comedy Hour was all over human news networks. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. A mining colony had defeated a dreadnought using construction equipment and a sense of humor. But Empress Zithera was not giving up. She was more determined than ever to understand these strange humans who laughed at danger and fought with garbage trucks. The news of humans defeating a Zephyrian dreadnought with mining equipment spread across the galaxy in just days. Species that had lived in fear of the Empire for hundreds of years could not believe what they heard. On the Galactic Council station, Ambassador Veltar was meeting with other alien representatives. They were all talking about the humans. "A mining colony defeated the Void Render," asked Ambassador Trix of the Aquarian Federation. "That ship destroyed our entire defense fleet last year. The humans used construction equipment as weapons," Veltar explained. "They treat warfare like a game." "Impossible," said Representative Yolan of the Tricone Alliance. "No species can defeat Zephyrian technology without fear." "These humans are different," Veltar said. "They laugh at danger. They make jokes during battles. I have never seen anything like it." The Galactic Council voted to invite humanity to join as members. They were curious about this species that could defeat empires with humor and mining equipment. On Earth, Ambassador Helen Ross was getting ready for humanity's first diplomatic mission to the galactic community. She was reading reports about alien cultures and customs. "Most species are very formal," her aide explained. "They have complex rules about respect and hierarchy. They don't make jokes during serious meetings." "That sounds boring," Helen said. "Are we expected to follow their rules?" "It would probably be wise," the aide said. Dr. Max Chen was also preparing for the mission. He was a xenopsychologist who studied alien minds. He had been reading everything about the Zephyrian Empire. "I think I understand what's happening," he told Admiral Taylor. "The Zephyrians base their entire society on fear and intimidation. When someone doesn't fear them, their whole system breaks down. So we're accidentally destroying their culture by laughing at them," Taylor asked. "Something like that, Doctor?" Chen said. "They need others to be afraid of them. It's how they prove they're powerful." Meanwhile, Empress Zithera was having the same problem. She had called together her best scientists and military leaders. They were trying to understand human psychology. "They show no fear response," reported Dr. Vax, the Empire's chief psychologist. "Even when facing certain death, they make jokes and laugh." "How is this possible?" the Empress asked. "We believe they have a different brain structure," Dr. Vax said. "Where other species have fear centers, humans seem to have humor centers. Can we use this against them?" asked Admiral Korthok. "We are not sure," Dr. Vax admitted. "We have never encountered a species that enjoys conflict." General Ryan Mitchell was preparing Earth's defenses for a possible full-scale attack, but he was having trouble figuring out how to fight the Zephyrians. Their ships are definitely more advanced than ours, he told the Defense Council, but they fight in very predictable patterns. They expect their enemies to be scared and confused. What's our advantage? Asked Senator Davis. We're not scared and confused, General Mitchell said. We're just confused. But in a good way. Captain Nick Stone was commanding the new battleship Defiant. It was Earth's most advanced warship, but it was still no match for a full Zephyrian fleet. Sir, if they bring their entire armada to Earth, we won't be able to stop them, Stone told General Mitchell. Maybe we don't need to stop them, Mitchell said. Maybe we just need to confuse them more. On the Galactic Council station, Ambassador Ross had arrived for her first diplomatic meeting. She walked into a huge chamber filled with dozens of different alien species. The meeting was very formal. Each ambassador wore ceremonial robes and spoke in complex, ritualistic language. They discussed trade agreements and territorial disputes with great seriousness. When it was Helen's turn to speak, she stood up casually. Hi everyone, she said. I'm Helen Ross from Earth. Nice to meet you all. The other ambassadors looked shocked. Some had never heard such informal language in the council chambers. Ambassador Ross, said the council chairman, you must follow proper protocol. State your full title and allegiance. Oh, right, Helen said. I'm Ambassador Helen Ross, representing the people of Earth and its colonies. We're the ones who've been having trouble with the folks in the big hats. Several ambassadors made quiet, gasping sounds. You were not supposed to make jokes about other species in the council. The Zephyrian Empire is a serious threat, the chairman said. They have conquered many worlds. Yeah, we noticed, Helen said. But honestly, they're not very good at it. Has anyone tried just telling them their hats look silly? Ambassador Veltar stood up. The humans do not understand galactic politics. The Zephyrians must be treated with respect and fear. Why? Helen asked. What happens if you don't respect them? They destroy your civilization, Veltar said. They tried that with our mining colony, Helen said. It didn't work out well for them. The council chamber was very quiet. No one had ever heard someone dismiss the Zephyrian Empire so casually. Dr. Chen was studying the reactions of the other ambassadors. He noticed something interesting. Helen, he whispered, look at their faces. They're not just shocked. Some of them look hopeful. Helen looked around the room. Dr. Chen was right. Many of the ambassadors seemed excited to hear someone who wasn't afraid of the Zephyrians. Has anyone here ever tried fighting back? Helen asked the council. Fighting the Zephyrian Empire is suicide, said Ambassador Trix. Only if you fight them the way they expect, Helen said. What if you tried something different? Like what? Asked Representative Yolan. Like not taking them seriously. Helen said they seemed to hate that. Back in Zephyrian space, Empress Cythera was obsessing over humanity. She had ordered her scientists to study every piece of human culture they could find. They have something called comedy, reported her cultural analyst. They deliberately create situations designed to cause laughter. Laughter during combat, the Empress asked. Laughter during everything, the analyst said. They seem to find humor in all situations, even dangerous ones. Show me examples, the Empress ordered. The analyst played videos of human entertainment, comedy shows, funny movies, and viral videos of people doing silly things. The Empress watched for hours. She did not understand any of it. Why do they make these noises? She asked. We believe it is a stress response, the analyst said. But, instead of fear or anger, they express amusement. Amusement, the Empress repeated. I do not understand this concept. Dr. Vax entered the room. My Empress, I have completed my analysis of human psychology. They are completely immune to intimidation. How? Do we defeat them? The Empress asked. I do not think we can, Dr. Vex said. Not with our current methods. They enjoy conflict. They treat our threats as entertainment. The Empress was quiet for a long time. In her entire life, she had never encountered a problem that could not be solved with greater intimidation. Prepare. The entire fleet, she finally said. All 1,000 ships. We will go to their home world. Surely they cannot laugh at a force that size. Yes, my Empress, Admiral Korthax said. But what if they do laugh? The Empress had no answer. On Earth, intelligence services detected the massive Zephyrian fleet gathering. Every ship in their empire was moving toward human space. This is it, General Mitchell told President Alex Thompson. They're bringing everything they have. How long until they arrive? The President asked. 3 days, Admiral Parker said. We should start evacuating the major cities. Or, President Thompson said slowly, we could throw them a party. Everyone in the room stared at him. Sir? General Mitchell said. Think about it, the President said. They keep trying to scare us, and we keep laughing. What if we officially invited them to see what human hospitality looks like? Dr. Chen suddenly smiled. That's brilliant. They'll have no idea how to handle it. Are you seriously suggesting we invite an invasion fleet to a party? Admiral Parker asked. Why not? President Thompson said. It's worked so far. The decision was made. Instead of preparing for war, humanity would prepare for the biggest party in its history. They had 3 days to get ready for guests who had no idea what was coming. The largest military fleet in galactic history arrived at Earth. Over 1,000 Zephyrian ships filled the space around the planet. The formation was perfect and terrifying. Each ship was positioned to create maximum visual impact. Empress Zathera stood on the bridge of her flagship. She wore her most elaborate crown, made of rare crystals and precious metals. It was so heavy she needed a special chair to support her neck. Begin the final ultimatum, she ordered. Her image appeared on every screen across Earth. Billions of humans stopped what they were doing to watch. People of Earth, the Empress began. You have defied the Zephyrian Empire for the last time. I am Empress Zathera, ruler of 47 conquered worlds. Your species has shown disrespect and must be punished. Around the world, humans gathered to watch the speech. In New York, people filled Times Square. In London, crowds packed Trafalgar Square. In Tokyo, families watched from their homes. You have 24 hours to surrender completely, the Empress continued. Submit to Zephyrian rule, or face total destruction. This is your final warning. When the speech ended, something unexpected happened. Instead of panic, there was cheering. President Alex Thompson had declared a global holiday called Intimidation Day. All across Earth, people were setting up parties and festivals. They had spent 3 days preparing for this moment. In Central Park, a massive stage was being built. Street vendors were selling t-shirts with Admiral Korthax's face on them. Children wore cardboard hats designed to look like Zephyrian crowns. Dr. Emma Foster was working with a team of psychologists on something they called Operation Welcome Wagon. She had studied Zephyrian culture and come up with a radical idea. They need validation, she explained to President Thompson. Their entire society is built on making others fear them. But what if we gave them something better? Like what? The President asked. Friendship, Dr. Foster said. They've spent so much energy trying to be scary. They've never learned how to be liked. Admiral Chris Parker was not convinced. Ma'am, they have enough firepower to destroy our entire planet. Yes, but they won't, Dr. Foster said. They want us to surrender, not die. Dead people can't fear you. The plan was approved. Instead of military preparation, Earth was getting ready for the biggest welcome party in human history. Museums created special exhibits about Zephyrian culture. Restaurants invented new dishes inspired by alien cuisine. Musicians composed welcome songs in what they thought might be Zephyrian musical styles. The aliens watched all this activity from their ships. They had expected fear and surrender. Instead, they saw humans having fun. "What are they doing?" Admiral Korthok asked his intelligence officer. "We believe they are celebrating," the officer said carefully. "Celebrating what?" "Our arrival, sir." Admiral Korthok had no idea how to respond to this information. 20-4 hours passed. When the deadline arrived, President Thompson broadcast a message to the Zephyrian fleet. "Empress Zathera," he said, "we received your ultimatum. We've thought it over, and we have a counter-proposal." The Empress appeared on the communication screen. She expected to see a defeated leader, begging for mercy. Instead, she saw President Thompson smiling and sitting casually in his office. "You dare make proposals to the Zephyrian Empire?" she asked. "Why not?" President Thompson said. "We've been studying your culture. Very impressive. We especially like the dramatic flair. You guys really know how to make an entrance." Behind the president, Dr. Foster and her team were setting up charts and displays about Zephyrian history and achievements. "We've prepared a proper reception for such distinguished guests," the president continued. "Would you like to see what human hospitality looks like?" The Empress was confused. "Reception? A party," President Thompson explained. "Food, music, entertainment. We've learned a lot about your empire, and we want to celebrate your visit properly." Celebrate. The Empress had never heard this word used in relation to imperial conquest. "Of course," the president said. "You've traveled all this way to meet us. The least we can do is throw you a good party." On the main screen, he showed images of the preparations happening around Earth. Millions of people were setting up festivals and parades. "These people should be terrified," the Empress said. "They are excited," President Thompson corrected. "Meeting aliens is pretty cool, especially aliens with such impressive technology and style." Dr. Foster stepped forward. "Your Majesty, we've studied the Zephyrian Empire's history. Your achievements in engineering, space travel, and military organization are remarkable. You should be proud." The Empress had never been complimented before. Other species usually just begged for mercy. "Double quotes you ... admire our achievements?" she asked. "How could we not?" Dr. Foster said. "Building an empire across 47 star systems is incredible. The logistics alone must be amazing." For the first time in her life, Empress Zathera felt something other than fear from another species. She felt ... appreciated. "We have prepared demonstrations of human culture for your fleet," President Thompson said. "Our best musicians, artists, and chefs. We want to show you what makes humanity special." "This is not how conquest works," the Empress said, but her voice was less certain. "Maybe conquest is overrated," President Thompson suggested. "Have you ever tried just being friends with people?" Admiral Korthok appeared beside the Empress. "My Empress, this is highly irregular. We should begin the bombardment." "Wait," the Empress said. She was curious about these strange humans and their party. The first human ships approached the Zephyrian fleet, but instead of weapons, they carried food, music, and gifts. Earth's finest chefs had prepared massive banquets. Musicians played welcoming songs. Artists had created beautiful displays honoring Zephyrian culture. The alien crews watched in amazement as humans docked with their ships and began setting up parties on their own vessels. "Admiral," one Zephyrian officer reported, "the humans are decorating our ships." "Decorating them with what?" Admiral Korthok asked. "Flowers, lights, and banners welcoming us to their solar system." Dr. Foster had trained teams of humans in basic Zephyrian customs. They greeted the aliens with proper respect, but also with genuine warmth and friendship. "Welcome to Earth," they said. "We're so excited to meet you." The Zephyrians had never experienced anything like this. For centuries, other species had feared them or hated them. No one had ever been happy to see them. Slowly, carefully, Some of the alien crews began to interact with their human visitors. They tried human food and listened to human music. They watched human children draw pictures of their ships and alien friends. On the flagship, Empress Cythera was experiencing something completely new. A group of human comedians was performing for her, telling jokes and making her laugh for the first time in her life. "This feeling," she said to Dr. Foster, "what is it called?" "Joy," Dr. Foster said. "Happiness, fun, fun." The Empress repeated the word carefully. Admiral Korthak was also changing. Human musicians had convinced him to try singing with them. His deep, dramatic voice actually worked very well for certain types of Earth music. "This is much more enjoyable than intimidation," he admitted to Dr. Foster. Within days, the entire Zephyrian fleet was celebrating with humans. Alien crew members were learning human games. Human engineers were sharing technology with their Zephyrian counterparts. Children from both species were playing together on the ships. The transformation was remarkable. The rigid military structure of the Zephyrian Empire began to relax as soldiers discovered that being liked was much more satisfying than being feared. Empress Cythera made a galaxy-wide announcement from Earth. "People of the galaxy," she said, "the Zephyrian Empire is changing. We have learned from the humans that there are better ways to interact with other species. We will no longer rule through fear and intimidation." The announcement caused a sensation across the galaxy. Species that had lived in terror for centuries began to hope for a better future. Dr. Foster's plan had worked perfectly. By giving the Zephyrians what they really needed, respect, appreciation, and friendship, humanity had accomplished what no military force could do. They had reformed an empire. 1 year later, Earth hosted the first annual Intimidation Day festival. Former enemies from across the galaxy came to celebrate the day that laughter defeated fear. Admiral Korthak had become the galaxy's most popular entertainer. His dramatic speeches were now comedy performances that filled stadiums. His signature line, "You will surrender now," delivered with perfect timing, never failed to get huge laughs from audiences. Empress Cythera had kept her crown, but replaced the intimidating spikes with colorful crystals that reflected light in beautiful patterns. She had learned to laugh, though she never quite mastered human humor. Her attempts at jokes were so awkward, they became endearing. The galaxy was at peace for the first time in centuries. The Zephyrian military had become an exploration and rescue service. Their ships, once symbols of terror, now brought aid to species in need. And it all started because humans thought a 15-pound hat looked silly. Captain Jake Murphy, still commanding the Terra's Pride, often told the story of first contact with the Zephyrians. He always ended with the same observation. "Sometimes the best weapon against evil isn't a bigger gun," he would say. "Sometimes it's just a good sense of humor." The universe, it turned out, was a much better place when people could laugh together, instead of fear each other. And humans, with their strange ability to find humor in the darkest situations, had taught the galaxy that friendship was stronger than fear. The Empire had tried to intimidate the Terrans, but the humans had found it funny, and that had made all the difference.